A short while earlier, while he was addressing the various tech company chiefs, he was with the US president, who gifted him a T-shirt with a slogan that the Prime Minister had coined just hours earlier, essentially, while he was addressing the US Capitol. It says, "The future is AI, America and India," which is a big statement and a interesting statement to make in a room with the people who hold the keys to the AI technology at the moment, the biggest technology chiefs. And so at a time in history where AI is certainly pegged as being the next big thing, that is artificial intelligence, the Prime Minister coining a different meaning to it, another meaning to it, that is America and India. And a lot of the talk about and around the Prime Minister's visit has been about how this century could be defined by the relationship between India and America. No one has said it more and more confidently than Biden himself. And the U.S. State Department Secretary Anthony Blinken also echoed the same view when he spoke earlier today. This is a comprehensive reset of Indian and American ties, and really the driver of this, if you're listening to the Prime Minister, has been the Indian-American diaspora, and it is they that he will address. The Indian-American diaspora have been front and center at all of the events of the Prime Minister right since he landed. From the time he reached New York, they were waiting outside his Lotte Palace Hotel in Manhattan for him to arrive. They also were at the White House, and the Prime Minister remarked that in the year 1993, he had come to the White House as an ordinary citizen of India, and he had seen it from the outside. And now, since becoming the Prime Minister, he's had multiple opportunities to visit, but this was the first time that the White House opened its gates to so many members of the Indian diaspora, and they were a treat to witness. They came with all their enthusiasm and fervor, carrying their tricolor flags, and that is something that he will most definitely highlight when he speaks. We'll listen in to another important speech and important statement that the Prime Minister had made shortly. For the time being, we're showing you these pictures of US President Joe Biden gifting the Prime Minister a shirt that says "The future is AI, America and India." You have Tim Cook on one side and you have Satya Nadella on the other. It really carries so much meaning in this one visual, because you have the chiefs and the heads of perhaps two of the most influential computing companies of the last 40 years. Apple, certainly the company that made personal computers what they are, and Microsoft that democratized it. I'm told we have Saurabh Shukla joining us from Washington, D.C. Saurabh, you were present at the White House as well yesterday. When you see the Prime Minister meeting top chief executives, what goes through your mind?
I'll tell you what, this is the celebration of India-US friendship like never before. What I've seen for the last 2 days, I just came out of the State Department from a lunch. I was honored to be a guest there of the Vice President Kamala Harris and Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. And I can tell you, in the closed door, in the room, there were who's who of the US Congress, industry. There were, some select CEOs from India, State Department officials, and everybody had one thing to say: that this partnership is going, on not only a fast track, but a hyper fast track. And Prime Minister's visit has accelerated. In fact, I, happened to meet the Prime Minister, Modi, and obviously I mentioned the sentiments that were there amongst the people who were seated at that lunch. So this is the intensity and depth of this partnership which have got.
Saurabh, stay with us.
Yeah.
I'm told on that front we have Aishwarya back with us. Aishwarya, what's happening in Washington?
No, I'll just tell you, and Saurabh and me, we were together in the Congress yesterday. It wasn't only a historic welcome at the White House. The speech was unprecedented. That moment when we saw 15 standing ovations, or 49 total ovations, bipartisan support, Modi slogans in the Congress, these were unprecedented scenes. Right from the very beginning, if you remember, getting more than 100 representatives or more than 180 people, though it was soft diplomacy, but sending out a message of peace. Prime Minister Modi made it clear, even in New York, by doing yoga together on the northern lawns of UN, the message was clear that India is here to lead. And as soon as he reached DC, unprecedented welcome. More than 6,000 people, the gates were opened of the White House for the first time for any state head, for any prime minister or any president. Prior to this, according to American historians, scenes like this were closed when Pope came, and he's a religious leader. So just understand that comparison. Never ever has this happened in the history of America, that gates of White House have been opened in such a manner. And hence, that tells you that how historic the trip of the Prime Minister is and how important it is. And in that bilateral, in the East Room, in the East Wing, when we saw Prime Minister Modi and President Biden talking to each other and saying that our DNA is same and that is democracy. You see, when Prime Minister Modi was speaking, and I repeat, in the Congress, and he mentioned that this is a beginning of AI, and he didn't mean artificial intelligence. It's America and India. Prime Minister Modi gave a message of peace. He said that there is no place of war in today's time. It's only diplomacy and dialogue. It was clear as it gets.